Welcome to the ultimate FM26 Manchester United 10-season rebuild, where today we're using Michael Carrick-inspired tactics, fully realistic transfers over the first couple of seasons, and seeing if we can not only take Manchester United back to winning a Premier League, but eventually dominating it. Seeing if we can win a historic treble like 1999, and bringing through youth academy talent as we do in real life, and carrying on the Manchester United tradition. In today's rebuild, we'll be trying to get as many trophies as possible and really turn United back into a dominant force. Get your comments in down below how many trophies you think we're going to win from the very start of this rebuild over the next 10 seasons. And without further ado, let's get into it. Now, in today's rebuild, we are starting as of the 2nd of February, just after the January transfer window, with fully updated transfers and fixtures and results just completed. So, as you can see, we have just beat Fulham, just beat Arsenal, and of course, just beat Manchester City as well. And we have got to go and beat Spurs and try and see if we can win 5 in a row away against West Ham. But overall, we are going to be using Michael Carrick-inspired tactics, because I think it's fair to say he's done quite well since coming in. The fact that we're all devastated we drew to West Ham shows the improvements. Now, in terms of the tactics, we have released some main Carrick tactics on the channel already. If you want to go and check that out, you are more than welcome. However, I will be tweaking them ever so slightly, as there has been an update to FM26, and I'll be going through over the next few sort of seasons of this rebuild and trying to upgrade the tactics and eventually build the best Carrick tactics I possibly can, which will be available down on the Patreon down below, as well as the save files for this rebuild, the very start, so you can pick up at this exact point in my database, and the very end save files, the end of 10 seasons. And also, there's going to be an editor data down below as well. Because in the pre-game editor, I have gone through and created 2 of Manchester United's best wonder kids. Number 1 being Kai Rooney. I've given him around a 170 potential ability at 16 years of age, playing out on that right wing and kind of making it to Kai Rooney's sort of ability as we currently know. And then the absolute superstar, that is JJ Gabriel. I've given him around a 185 potential ability, and seeing if we can make JJ Gabriel and Kai Rooney over the next 10 seasons so Manchester United's best players in the entire club. And of course, blooding through youth is what we are all about here at Manchester United, and it's incredibly exciting to have both JJ and Kai Rooney in the team. The other thing I've also done is upped Shea Lacey's potential ever so slightly to around 170, so that he is able to potentially break into the team over the next few seasons, rather than his abysmal potential that FM26 gives him from the very start. So hopefully throughout the course of this rebuild, we're also going to bring through some incredible young talent. Now, in terms of the Manchester United first team, I'm of course going to be concentrating on playing our superstar Kobbie Mainoo in the midfield as a deep line playmaker, ticking through and dominating Premier League games exactly like he's doing in real life. And then this upcoming summer, we've got some huge decisions. Of course, Casemiro leaving on a free contract at the end of the season, because we are running an updated database where Semenyo is at Manchester City and all the transfers have gone through, and Casemiro, of course, leaving United in the summer. So some big midfield options going forward. And we have to look at Bruno Fernandes as well. Is Bruno Fernandes potentially going to leave Manchester United in the summer? I don't actually think so. I think it completely depends on the manager we get in, but I don't think Bruno's going anywhere. Let me know your comments down below. Would you take the Bruno Fernandes leaving and Cole Palmer coming in? That's a tough one. I really don't know if I would or not. But we need to get into it, because obviously we need to just finish off this first season. This is going to be classed as season number 1 of the rebuild. Obviously, we're not going to be winning any trophies this season. It will be good to finish in the top 4 and carry on Carrick's incredible form. I am also going to make sure we get knocked out of the FA Cup, because obviously we can't win that in real life, and I don't want to give myself any chances of winning that in this first season. So very much going forward, it's securing Champions League football and really revitalizing these Carrick tactics for the new updated database. Now, this is my first video coming out on YouTube as a full-time content creator, and if you can do me a huge, massive favor, please smash the like button on this video. Yes, it's a Manchester United rebuild. Yes, they are notorious for getting views on YouTube, but they're my club. I absolutely love United, and nothing would make me happier than this video being the best video ever performing on the channel. So please smash a like button, subscribe to the channel for more insane content coming out over the rest of FM26. on full time now. We can do whatever we want in terms of content. We've also got the second channel, More Kempi, where there is every other day there is a Let's Play episode coming out where we are currently doing a Vitesse Youth to Gold save, which is incredible. And also we've got the Patreon down below where there's PDF scouting files, there's rebuilds, there's tactics, all available for £5 a month. And every bit of support that you guys have given over the last few years have got us to today. So a massive, massive thank you. And do me one favor, smash the like button on this video. Now, as mentioned, we have made some tweaks to the character tactics we released on the channel a few weeks ago to sort of fit a little bit of a new meta, but also sort of upgrade the character tactics a bit because of the way we are currently playing football. And I feel like I've done that very well. We have created much more of a 3-2-5 build-up structure with Diogo Dalot joining in as an inverted fullback and Luke Shaw going forward as an attacking wing-back, with Mbumo / whoever plays out on that left wing moving into this left cam half space, as well as Bruno Fernandes moving into the right-hand side, but overall just roaming around all over the place. Ahmad holding the wide right width, and Luke Shaw, just as he did it in that goal, getting down the left-hand flank and whipping balls in to Super Benjamin Sesko. Of course, we are being nice and direct, playing counter-attacking, fast, aggressive football, and it's worked. Just to cap off the season, the final game was a 4-1 victory over Brighton. We also bagged 4 against Nottingham Forest and 3 against Sunderland, but showed our defensive resilience in a 0-0 draw against Liverpool, beating Brentford 2-1 thanks to a brace from Super Bruno, drawing away from home against Chelsea and beating Leeds 2-0. We have absolutely mastered the tactics, and that has us finishing in 5th place on 65 points. How on earth, with them fantastic results, have we finished in 5th place? I mean, Liverpool, unbelievable sort of second half to the season. Their fixture list must have been just pure victory season throughout the end here. I mean, there's a few draws, a few losses here and there, but overall, I have no idea how we finished in 5th place because other than, I mean, literally, there's us. I suppose at the end of February, there was a loss to Everton, a loss to Palace, a loss to Newcastle, and a loss to Bournemouth. But at the end of the season, when we really started to nail and get used to tactics, we were absolutely fantastic. And really, it is what it is. We've come in 5th place. It should still be Champions League football. And I think at the start of the season, if we offered any Manchester United fan Michael Carrick being in charge at the end of the season and finishing in a Champions League space, would probably bite your hands off. So that's exactly what we've managed to do this year. And it looks as though we've really got the most out of our best players. Benjamin Sesko now starting to play games up front here on FM26, as I imagine Carrick will transition to be doing over the next few games. He is now back-to-back games scoring goals. He's got 9 goals in 17 games, which is a really good return here on FM26. Bruno Fernandes, 11 goal contributions in 17, and Ahmad picking up his output with 7 goal contributions as well. In terms of best performance for this second half of the season, we're seeing Shea Lacey and Ahmad really be these standout 3, which shows them winger positions that we have created have really gone on to impress. The inverted winger on the left-hand side with his individual instructions to run wide with the ball, roam from position, but mostly pick up that half space on the left-hand side. And then Ahmad keeping the width on the right-hand side, being aggressive with his dribbling and roam from position has also worked absolute wonders. And like I said, I've made the decision to move Dalot into an inverted full-back role so that he is picking up more of a back 3 with Martinez and De Ligt. Then we have Maino and Casemiro, and then Shaw and Mbumo, Fernandes, Ahmad and Sesko. Even that front 5 is just absolutely fantastic. And you can sort of see how it's working out here with the anchor as the middle centre-back, Dalot and Martinez slightly higher up, and then Luke Shaw picking up the overlap on the left-hand side of Mbumo. As I said, these tactics will be available down below on the Patreon at the end of this video. Now, in terms of finances, we all know Manchester United are well and truly screwed. But I don't know what's happened here because we've only got £250 million in debt. I'm not sure what's happened. Apparently we've paid off like £600 million worth of debt since sort of 3 months ago, which is insane. I don't believe there's been a takeover. Nope, there's not. We've still got Glazer, Barada, David Gill, Alex Ferguson, all kind of as board members. I'm sourced to Jim Ratcliffe is there somewhere as well in the background. So we've just managed to clear loads of debt, which is really good. I didn't actually do anything in the pre-game to make that happen, but we'll take it. It means that there's going to be more money available to us over this rebuild, which is good. I am going to be doing things in a slash mainly realistic way as well. This summer, looking into our real midfield targets, are we going to get Adam Wharton, Elliot Anderson, Carlos Baleba, Angelo Stiller? Well, I'll show you guys who we ended up getting. And of course, as well, going forward, trying to pick up them young talents from South America, using like the Christian Verbelli scouting methods of trying to bring players in for like 500k to £1 million and turn them into absolute superstars. That is going to be something we are heavily concentrating on. But like I said, for this summer, there is lots of changes which are going to happen. We need a bunch of midfielders. Ugarte is going to have to leave. Casemiro will end up leaving. I think we potentially need a brand new right back, potentially a brand new left back, and really improve the midfield and defence after last season's huge improvement of the attack. So just to confirm the outgoings, we've got Højlund to Napoli, Xerxes to Chelsea, Ugarte to Al Ahly, Onana and Casemiro both to Roma, and then a bunch of players leaving out on loan, where I'm trying to get some of the best loans for our young players, so they're playing lots of games. I'm also really trying to progress the young talent here at United as well. Now overall, that raised £138 million plus the 150 we already had. So welcome to the new Manchester United midfielder, Carlos Baleba. Now, I think this is the most realistic signing that we make in the summer. And I do absolutely love Elliot Anderson and Adam Wharton, but I think Baleba is the guy that we've been tracking now since last summer, rumours in January, and then it's always been this summer Baleba could be the man we go for, and we made the decision to go with him. £57 million is a fantastic deal for him. I think in real life it will be about 70 million. He's not had the greatest of years this season, but if Manchester United were talking to me in the summer and I was told I'd have to stay in Brighton, I'd also be pretty annoyed. So there's no surprise he's not having the greatest of seasons, but there is no doubting the sheer quality of Carlos Baleba. I think defensively he is the strongest and is the best long-term partner that allows Kobbie Mainoo to really grow into a superstar for us. But of course there was other signings needed as well, and my second is Johan Manzambi. He is a Swiss defensive midfielder playing at Freiburg who has cost us £40 million. He is just 20 years of age and kind of more fits the Kobbie Mainoo role as the rotation option. High determination, high flair, good dribbling, decent enough physical stats, 6 foot tall, okay defensively, but great on the ball with passing technique, vision and work rate, and will do really well as a central left centre midfielder. Plays 1-2s, runs with the ball often. As that driving DM, Johan could be fantastic for years to come. And then my final signing, I have to say, is a bit of a weird one, but something which I can see Manchester United doing, bringing in some Premier League experience in Yves Bissouma. He's a decent enough defensive midfielder with 17 tackling, 14 marking, great physical stats, a good physical presence, and can also dribble out with the ball and is decent enough with his passing and technique. I'm not saying this is the first choice, second choice midfielder, but as a fourth choice rotation option for £27 million, who is Premier League proven for, 9 seasons now, I think is a pretty decent piece of business, which if a deal like this came up, whether it's Andre from Wolves, whether it's Yves Bissouma, I think this is the kind of deal which makes sense and is the sort of deal that the Manchester United board are kind of looking at doing. We then look into the left back role, and I decided to bring in Bradley Loco for just £7 million from Brest, because I am going to use Luke Shaw for another season and also look to try and develop Dorgu into that attacking left wing back role. And Bradley Loco is kind of a stopgap but long-term rotational signing, where when Luke Shaw does move on this season or next season, now that he's 31, 32 years of age, isn't going to be playing as a bombing on wing-back, Bradley Loco is a really good rotation option with every single stat needed in around that 13 to 15 range, and was an absolute bargain at 7 million. And then finally, I brought in Breel Mbolo to be a rotational slash real backup striker to Benjamin Sesko. Now, I think Mbolo gives us something different. He's got that strong presence, that great balance, that decent finishing, and that work rate up front as well. And I think he's more of a natural finisher than someone like Joshua Zirkzee. Throughout his career, he has scored between 9 and 12 goals in the top flights all around Europe, and for £14 million at 29 years of age, again, really isn't looking to start games. He is happy to be a backup rotation option, and that enables us to have Benjamin Sesko as our starting striker, the number one guy forever, really. And I think Mbolo for the next 2 or 3 seasons is a great rotational option. And that is it in terms of signings. We spent around £150 million, which I think is a realistic enough transfer window, with only raising 140, so about a £10 million outlay, because, I mean, realistically, we're not going to go and spend 500 million this summer. We spent around 250 last summer. I can't really see us going that crazy this summer where there's another 250, 300 million pounds spent, but I do think we have massively upgraded this squad. Now, in terms of the starting lineup, it's only Carlos Baleba that comes in as a guaranteed starter, but we have now got is 2 midfielders, which I would happily play for 20, 25 games in the season behind our starting 2. We have got a rotational long-term left back, and we have got a striker as a backup to Sesko, who isn't a 9.5 like Joshua Zirkzee, more of that out-and-out number 9 now at 29 years of age of Brighton Mbolo. Of course, we've got Shea Lacey in the team, who is starting to progress a few of them stats. We'll be hopefully keeping an eye on him over the next few seasons. And as we sort of start this rebuild, we're not going to see too much out of our 2 young lads in JJ and Kai Rooney, both 15 and 16 years of age. But hopefully by around the midway point in this rebuild at 19, 20 years of age, these 2 can really start to break into the first team. But don't worry, in the meantime, before we sort of talked about them going into the first team, I am monitoring their development and really trying to get them as long-term options for this rebuild. Now, I'm pretty confident that this season we are going to be in Champions League football. It currently isn't showing anywhere which competition we are going to be in, but I'm confident as we finished in 5th place, it should be the Champions League. And then in terms of the Premier League, let's see where we are predicted. So we are predicted down in 6th place, a squad average age of just 25. Chelsea at 23 is a bit scary. Newcastle in 4th place with a squad average age of 26, making a huge signing in Francisco Trincao. They could be someone to keep an eye out throughout this rebuild. And of course, the big 3 in Arsenal, Liverpool and Manchester City, who have signed Kylian and... Oh, they haven't, have they? Mbappe has gone to City in season number 1. Now, if you thought this rebuild was going to be easy, if you thought we were going to rebuild Manchester United into Premier League winners in back-to-back seasons, think again. City have got Mbappe and Haaland in the same team. That is just an absolute sickening joke. If we could get their 115 charges in right now, that would be fantastic. So that's the kind of the quality of the teams that we're up against. And then with Arsenal, they have not really done anything in terms of transfers under Mikel Arteta still. So they're, of course, going to be a team to look out for. I can't believe that they've actually gone and signed Kylian Mbappe. That's mental. In terms of prediction, no wonder then our favourites with Liverpool, with ourselves sitting in 6th place outside a clear top 4. Let's see if we can upset them odds. Well, is anyone at all surprised by this? Because I, for one, certainly am not. We lost 2-0 to Manchester City away from home this season. Haaland and Mbappe scored the goals. Yeah, of course he did. But in all truth, he isn't actually that good in the Premier League. I mean, Erling Haaland scored 25 goals in 28 games, but you have to scroll down to 12th place to see Mbappe being outscored by FM wonder kid Lorenzo Luca and Haji Wright down on 14 goals in 30 appearances. For us, we had Bruno Fernandes score 17 and Super Benjamin Sesko score 19 goals, both outscoring Mbappe. We'll take that. Now, in terms of our form this season, we started in electric fashion, and by the middle of October, we were really one of the best teams in the league by far, beating teams in the Champions League phase with ease, smashing through Premier League sides like Aston Villa, newly promoted Hull and Ipswich, all scoring 4, 4 and 6 goals respectively. We also managed to grab 3-2 victory over Newcastle at the very end of December, but sprinkled in with some big losses away from home against Liverpool and Arsenal. And really, that was the difference this season. Especially when you add into the fact our final 3 games of the season, we drew 1-1 with Villa, 1-1 with Brighton, and 2-2 at Spurs. Which meant at the end of the season, we crumbled down to 3rd place, and it looked like we were actually destined to win the league here in season number 2. But this abysmal last 5-game form took us off the top spot, and it was won by Liverpool. No, it was won by Manchester City on 90 points, with Liverpool just 2 points above us on 88, but 86 points, finishing in 3rd place is a fantastic season, and it's something which I think as United fans, we would absolutely bite your hands off for. That is a fantastic season and sets up this rebuild in a really good fashion. Back-to-back Champions League sort of outings is going to be really enjoyable, and now being a back-to-back top 4 side, the first time it's happened since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer being charged, that is exactly what we wanted to see. Now, sadly, we didn't go on some historic FA Cup run. We lost 3-1 to Arsenal in the 5th round. The Carabao Cup, almost embarrassing as losing to Grimsby. We lost to Wolves, a Championship side, 1-0. And the Champions League was a classic Atletico Madrid Diego Simeone 0-0 over 2 legs and losing on penalties. That is some of the most annoying football in the world. But I was incredibly happy with our signings we made this summer. Carlos Baleba dropping a 7.12. Johan Manzambi dropping a 7.05. We had Brilliant Bolo score 1 goal in 1 start and 16 games off the bench. Maybe not my best signing ever. And Isbasuma being that 4th choice midfielder, a goal, an assist, 19 games off the bench. He's unhappy, asking to leave already, but that's the exact role I wanted him to be. That 4th choice defensive midfielder, and he done it to a pretty decent standard. Mainu, 1 goal, 4 assists, and a 7 average rating. But like we said, goal scorers wise, Benjamin Sesko, Bruno Fernandes, Mateus Cunha was fantastic, 15 goals and assist. Ahmad really breaking into the best player at the club with 28 goal contributions. He is absolutely flying so far in this rebuild. And Mbumo with also 25 goal contributions, absolutely smashing it. Actually playing out on that left-hand side more often than not, which is proving to be a really good position for him. He is a preferred left foot player, so he does cut inside, but then we've got him cut back outside, and that's so dangerous because teams just don't know where he's going, and he links up to Luke Shaw, and we score loads of goals that way. So really good to see him smashing it. Shea Alesi starting 4 games, 8 off the bench, 6 goal contributions at 20 years of age. I think a loan deal could be perfect for Shea right now. He looks absolutely unbelievable as well. And then Patrick Dorgu, the rotational left winger. Mason Mount potentially not going to be very happy. Dalot doing quite good as the rotational inverted fullback. And overall, we are just doing really, really well. Now, Lenny Yoro is someone which I am quite nervous for. Not only in this rebuild, but actually in real life as well, because Matthias de Ligt, if he recovers from this mystery back injury, he's absolutely fantastic, isn't he? And now we're in a 2 centre-back system. Lenny Yoro is going to have a lot less playing time. And we saw that today in this season. 8 starts in the Premier League, 4 starts in the Champions League. And someone of Lenny Yoro's quality is not going to be happy as that player. So another thing over the next sort of few seasons is going to be seeing how we navigate this, because Matthias de Ligt isn't a young footballer. He is actually, isn't he? Let's completely scrap that. Matthias de Ligt is incredibly young. He's 27 years of age. I mean, I think he's the same age as me. It's just because he's been around for 100 years, because he was a captain at 7 years of age at Ajax. It feels like he's been around forever. But realistically, Matthias de Ligt is going to be a solid centre-back for another 4 or 5 seasons, especially here in Football Manager. Are we ever going to be able to develop Lenny Yoro? I don't actually know. Lisandro Martinez at 29 is going to have a couple more good seasons than him, and he's left-footed. So someone like Aidan Heaven at 20 years of age, who was getting so many opportunities over the start of the season as we were playing a back 3. Now it looks a little bit difficult for him to break into the team. So these are all things we're going to have to navigate over the next few years. But from here, the big thing we need to do is really concentrate on upgrading the squad of this team. I think our starting 11 is very strong, but now it's about them rotational positions. We've got £116 million to spend. Financially, we've still got £170 million in debt, and we are going to continuously go up and down throughout the course of this rebuild, I imagine. But hopefully, by the end of 10 seasons, the Glazers are gone, we've got loads of money, and we can really have the best Manchester United save file possible. That's the ultimate dream. With hopefully a treble, a quadruple, and like 4 Premier League trophies. The next 10 years, I'd take that. So outgoings-wise, there was some big changes. Dalot left to Real Madrid for £50 million, which I mean, that's an absolute steal if I say so myself. Mbolo's gone to Ipswich for £17 million, making £2.5 million profit on a 30-year-old. It's not awful. And then we lost £20 million on Yves Bissouma going to Napoli, and then sold a few players and loaned a few players out into the Championship, with still a whole bunch going on with Tyler Fletcher, Mantato, and also loaning out Aidan Heaven to hopefully be a starter in the Championship. And that's because an opportunity arose which I didn't know if I could turn down. Willian Pacho joining from PSG for £51 million as a left-footed centre-back and a long-term replacement / already overtaking Lisandro Martinez is a too good of a deal. 16 marking, 16 tackling, 16 determination, electric physicals, is at least 6 foot tall, which is a pretty big bonus for a centre-back. Not that it actually matters for Leitcher at all. He's one of my favourite players at United, and I would hate to replace him. But the opportunity of William Pacho coming in for, like I said, £55 million was way too good to turn down, and I'm hoping he can be kind of a star over the next 5, 6, 7 seasons. And it really does put Heaven's role as a starter in the future under jeopardy, so we'll have to see. Now, as a backup striker, I've decided to sign Liam Delap from Chelsea for £22 million. And I think it's a good signing. I think this is something, again, that makes sense. He's homegrown. He's from Manchester, despite coming up through the Manchester City Academy. So he knows the area well enough for himself. He is a good height, being, 6'1", 6'2", great speed, great strength, good determination, good finishing and composure. And he did have a very good season with Ipswich in the Premier League. Now, does he look like a top 4 striker at Chelsea? No, he doesn't. But at 24 years of age, as a rotational striker to Benjamin Sesko, I like it. To replace Diogo Dalot as our right inverted fullback, I have signed Omar El Hilali, a Moroccan right back. We've signed one of them recently in Mazraoui. It's gone very well, so I've gone for it again. He's already a leading Premier League right back, and we've signed him from Espanyol for £49.5 million. The exact same Diogo Dalot was sold for, which is a fantastic deal. This guy, 6 foot tall, great speed, 15 marking, 15 tackling, 12 crossing, is kind of the best inverted fullback I could find at just 23 years of age. His stats are outrageous for the position. And I think he's going to make a huge difference because he's good enough on the ball, he's good defensively, and is hopefully going to really shore up our defence. And then finally, as to replace Yves Bissouma, we brought in Nico Rovella, coming in from Lazio for £36 million. Apologies, I haven't got the names fixed. Obviously, this is recorded like a day after the FM26 latest update, which has come out, which, by the way, FM26 is on a discount. I'm not paid by SI at all, but there's a lot of hate around this game, which really frustrates me because it is in such a better place than it was day one. No, it's not acceptable the way it was released, but at 33% off currently, I think is a sort of good time to get in, buy it, give it a test again. And yeah, I haven't got the name fix update there. Kind of a random little promo in the middle of the video. I haven't got a code you can go and use or anything. I just think FM26 is getting a lot of slack and a lot of hate, and I've been quite vocal about it recently because genuinely I have so much fun playing this game with the new updated skins like the Mr. Teeny skin, with the updated databases you can get of Sword Out SI and FM Scout. I cannot comment on how console is because I've never played it, so it could be in an absolute state. Apologies, console people. But even then, the winter update is coming out soon, whether you'll get updated transfers, you'll get updated everything, and I genuinely would give FM26 a try again. It is in such a better position than it was even the first 2 or 3 weeks after release. The way it is now is just so much better. But anyway, Nico Rovella, the guy we signed, he's very good as even a third choice potential DM over Johan Manzambi. He is only 25 years of age. He is a really good sort of ball-playing defensive midfielder, dictates the tempo, good determination, good tackling, kind of an electric defensive midfielder, and again, cost us about £50 million. So overall, £162 million spent, £80 million raised, about £80 million overall in transfer spend. But again, I think our team is better. A better inverted fullback on the right-hand side, Pacho, De Ligt, and Shaw as the back four. Luke Shaw still keeping that position as the wing-back because he's just doing really well and he's not going too much in terms of his speed. Maybe next year at 33, we will make a change there, though. Mainu and Baleba as the DMs, Ahmad and Bumo, Bruno and Shesko as the man up top. What I have done in the system as well was move Bruno into this attacking midfielder role rather than playing as a central midfielder as an AM. He's had some really good sort of games over the last few seasons playing in this role. And because he's got 20 natural fitness and 20 stamina, his stats just aren't going down, and I don't see a reason to sell him. I personally think Bruno stays and wins a Premier League with us. Yes, it's delusion. Yes, I'm a crazy Manchester United fan. Yes, I can see it happening. I know I'm stupid. I'm sorry. But Bruno Fernandes is just an absolute legend, and I would love him to leave with a Premier League trophy at some point. In terms of the rest of the team, I think our backups and rotations are really strong. Tom Heaton, that could play in every position. I think he's gone into goalkeeping coaching, lads. Let's report that one as a bug after this. Yes, there's still some bugs. But Vitek as our backup goalkeeper. Mazraoui, Yoro, Martinez and Loco as a backup back four. Really strong. Ravella and Manzambi as the backup DMs. Dorgu, Cunha, Mount and Liam Delap as the backup attackers. I think it's a really, really strong side. And I think this season we can make a push to maybe lift a Premier League. Last year, 4 points off and we bottled it at the end. This year, let's try and go for it. Now, the big change we had to make this season was how we performed against the big sides, like this 2-0 victory over Arsenal, a 1-0 victory over Chelsea, and a 4-1 hat-trick from Benjamin Sesko against Manchester City, and a goal from JJ Gabriel. It is only the year 2028, but we are already in the JJ Gabriel era as Bruno Fernandes gives him an assist for his first goal for the club. We went on to then beat Manchester City 2-1. We beat Liverpool 1-0 and finished off the season with 3 fantastic results. A 7-2 against Burnley, a 3-2 away from home against Forest with another hat-trick from Ben Sesko. And on the final day of the season, a 5-2 victory over Brentford. So in 2028, Manchester United lift the Premier League trophy 15 seasons after we last done it. And it was a fantastic season at that as well. It's just taken 3 seasons to take us from Michael Carrick's interim to a Premier League winner, which is absolutely fantastic. And we've done it on the skin of our teeth. A final day bottle job of Blackburn drawing against Arsenal, a Blackburn side which had just 5 points. Us destroying Brentford 5-2, who also got relegated, lifts us a Premier League trophy on 83 points, which I think is actually our worst points tally yet, but it's enough this year to lift a title. In terms of goals, we officially have the Premier League top goal scorer as Benjamin Sesko grabs 25 goals, outscoring Alexander Isak, the Premier League FM wonderkid Luka, Erling Haaland with just 19, and Mbappe down at just 12 goals. What an awful, awful signing. In terms of defensive record, we conceded not many goals at all. If I can find the correct thing to check onto, we conceded just 29 goals this season, 2 less than Arsenal in second place. In terms of goal scoring, we scored 72, 6 away from Arsenal. But overall, we were just absolutely fantastic. As we saw, Benjamin Sesko had a real breakout season at 24 years of age, scoring 30 goals in 36 games. Bruno Fernandes at 33 grabbed 12 and 11. Cunha grabbed 9 and 2. And Mbumo 9 and 12. Ahmad 7 and 13. Liam Delap off the bench, 4 goals, much better than Mbolo. And then we have Delict absolutely smashing it. Shea Lacey 11 starts, 11 off the bench. And JJ Gabriel at 17, 6 starts, 9 off the bench, 2 goals. Progressing pretty well in his stats already at 17 years of age, 16 determination, great dribbling and speed. I think this is the start of the JJ Gabriel era, and what excites me the most is Shea Lacey is also progressing so fast. At 21 years of age, I think in the next 3 or 4 years we could see a wing partnership of Shea Lacey and JJ Gabriel, which would be insane. Kai Rooney hasn't yet made his debut and is certainly a little bit slower in his development, which I think is fairly realistic. I think Kai Rooney actually getting into the Manchester United first team would be genuinely outrageous. He has just had a recent scholarship contract and is playing under 18s football at 16, so you genuinely never know. But I really hope Rooney just goes on to have a career in football. And if that's at United, that's going to be absolutely insane. And then the final thing I want to touch on this season is the struggles of Lenny Yoro. I've said about it previously and I'll say it again. Lenny Yoro is not breaking into this team. 4 starts, 1 game off the bench in the Champions League, 1 FA Cup game. And I think the best thing for me to do is to keep him. Maybe he might stay next season again, but if he doesn't break in, loan him out. And I might see if we've got any loan deals for Lenny Yoro this season, because Matthijs de Ligt is slowly getting on. He is now, 28 years of age. There's a chance that eventually he can take that position, but I think just staying here as the backup centre-back, he is not going to develop enough to take that role. But this season is now about attempting to retain our Premier League. We have lifted our first trophy in the rebuild. Number 1 ticked off. Remember to comment down below how many trophies you think we're going to get throughout this rebuild. And while you're there, smash a like, hype it up, deal with the good stuff. In terms of debt, it's not looking great. We're back up at £450 million. I'm almost convinced that this figure actually doesn't mean a single thing. The fact it went down to 200 million and is now back up at 450 when I've spent £80 million overall in transfers in after transfers out is a bit crazy. So I don't really know what's happening with the debt. We're back down in the massive reds. We haven't got a lot of money to spend, just £67 million and wage budget 575k. So yeah, it's not great in terms of finances, but it's Manchester United at the end of the day. What do we really expect? One thing I'm also keeping an eye on as well is the facilities and if we can upgrade the stadium at any point, because obviously by the year like 2030, there's potentially going to be a brand new stadium. So that'd be quite cool to see if we can do that throughout this rebuild as well. So due to our financial restrictions, we had to sell to buy. So that is exactly what we've done, with Lisandro Martinez leaving at 30 years of age to go and join Atletico Madrid for 62 million. Which, as a reminder, we have got Willian Pacho, and that enables us to bring Aiden Heaven back into the fold. We sold Bradley Loco to Outer Wound for 20 million, and then sold Amir Ibrahimov to Chelsea for 13.25 million with a 50% future sell-on clause, which I think is a good sale on our behalf as a 20-year-old. He's progressed quite well, but if he ever goes on to anything, we hold 50% of future value and taking £13 million right now, enabling us to reinvest in the future. So we spent that money on bringing Kenneth Aitchorn into Manchester United. Now, Aitchorn is one of the best wonder kids on FM26, and this season cost me £11 million and being loaned straight back out on loan, which for me is a fantastic piece of business. Going to Real Betis, this guy is unbelievably good. I think in real life he's meant to be unbelievably good as well. And I'm excited for the future DM partnership of Mainu and Aitchorn in this rebuild. I also brought in Jean-Pierre Davila, who is a Peruvian wonder kid, 18 determination, good speed, good dribbling, good finishing for £215,000. I'm going to look to try and make signings like this throughout the rebuild, trying to find them young stars for crazy cheap. If you want to know exactly how I'm finding these young players that are even potentially Manchester United level, check out the PDFs on the Patreon down below or the video of the Ultimate Scouting Guide for FM26. Both of them have it in, the PDFs with some extra information, which will help you guys out massively in terms of scouting. And we also signed a few extra players. We brought Mati Kovar back to the club as a backup goalkeeper. He's homegrown at the club, which is very, very helpful. He is 28 years of age and a really good backup to Stella Lamans. We then spent big on our brand new left back and finally brought Nathaniel Brown to the club. Now, there is a lot of links with Brown coming to Manchester United this summer, which financially I just didn't have the money to do right now. So as we get into season 4, just 3 summers away in real life, I pulled the trigger and brought Brown to the club for £43 million. I then brought Michael Kiyode into the club as a rotational right back from Brentford, now Premier League proven. £29.5 million after they got relegated is a bargain. And my final signing is Bazumana Traore, an Ivory Coast left winger with 17 pace, 16 acceleration, 16 dribbling, 15 determination to rotate on that left-hand side, which, of course, we do have currently Brian Mbeumo, and we also have JJ Gabriel, but I don't want Gabriel to play a stupid amount of games too young and harm his development. I'm trying to just be a little bit clever with it. And also the fact that realistically now, Brian Mbeumo is 28 years of age. So if JJ Gabriel progresses really quickly, we can sell Mbeumo for probably still around 60, 70 million pounds, and then have Traore and JJ Gabriel as our two wingers. Trying to think ahead in the future as well as right now. Kobe Mainu is someone I want to touch on as well. He is progressing really well and has now had another 23 caps with England as well, which is fantastic. Last season, Aiden Heaven went on loan to the Championship and grabbed a 6.96 in 46 games at Wolves, which is really good for his development as a rotational left-sided centre-back. So that has done a world of good for him. And in the squad, I've actually brought up all the players which I've got out on loan, which I think could have a potential future. Jayden Nwashi was amazing in our youth-only United rebuild. Potentially is going to get in here as well in the future. Patrick Dorgu, I have just loaned out to Atalanta to see if he can develop his game with some more game time. Diego Leon is progressing really well in this rebuild. He's got a loan spell at Middlesbrough this season in the Championship, and he might be a rotational left-back for us next season. Same goes for Harry Yamas. Them two are kind of in a race for that backup left-back spot. Tyler Fletcher, I have loaned out. He's got 20 determination. I've loaned him out to Charlton to see if he can continue to grow, because with 20 determination, it really is sky's the limit vibes. But the man that might stand in his way is Kenneth Aishorn, who, of course, could be the best player at the club very soon. Christian Orozoko is a signing in real life, which kind of has inspired me to make some of these £200,000, £500,000 signings. This is one that Manchester United have done in real life, and we've loaned him out to Stoke. And then final, Cheadle Obi, who's on loan at Angers, and to be honest, isn't really impressing me. He is now 20 years of age, hasn't broken into the Danish setup yet, has 7 determination, good speed, good finishing, good composure, but maybe Cheadle Obi isn't going to make it at Manchester United. We will have to wait and see. Kai Rooney and JJ Gabriel both in the first team training, but available for under-21s football. I think Rooney could go out on loan next season, and maybe the same for Gabriel, although we could see him break into the first team and be a starter as soon as this season. In terms of the Premier League, we are of course the past winner, which is a massive win, and now the 4th best time side based on prediction with this 4-4-1-1 setup, and on the media prediction, just 10-1 now, with City clear favourites at 2-1. What I do find hilarious is they have won one title, having Mbappe and Erling Haaland, now managed by Arne Slot as well. No surprise they haven't spent much money. I mean, I say that, they spent 100 odd that season just there. How much did they actually sign Mbappe for? They signed Rodrigo for 189 million the summer after. Unbelievable. And then Mbappe for 265. If we're not investigating City at this point, what is honestly going on? Let's get into it, and let's see if we can win some more trophies in Season 4. Now, Season 4 was a strange one. I'm not quite sure what's happened, but we have just dropped down to 5th place on 76 points, and Arsenal have just won the league on 93. Now, I've not made many transfers. Not many people have left other than the Sandro Martinez, and the team is progressing as a good young side. But in all honesty, we were just really bad in the midway point in the season. And I say really bad, we only got 5 points left than when we won the title last season. It's got to be said, so far in the Champions League, we have been absolutely atrocious. You'll notice I haven't touched on it just yet. We got knocked out to Benfica in the knockout playoff round there, Leipzig knockout playoff the season before, and Atletico Madrid in the season before that. But this season, we did lift another trophy, thankfully the Carabao Cup, with goals coming from Sesko, Bruno Fernandes and Mbeumo, beating Leeds in the final, which always feels good. So that makes it 2 trophies so far, but that is an awful season, and I am worried we're going to be in the Europa League next year. I'm kind of surprised I've kept my job. And I think the main reason I have is because we have had a board takeover. A bunch of Brazilians have bought the club, which I quite like the sound of that. A bit of Brazilian money and flair coming in. We haven't got, a state-owned club to be the brand new club owners. And I think these club owners see potential in me. And they also see expanding Old Trafford. And that should basically be happening anytime now. In the next 3 weeks, Old Trafford should be expanded. I think that means we've moved away from the whole buying a new stadium thing. But we'll see how that looks the start of next season. But overall, we've kept our job, which is a massive, massive bonus. They are on a C+ still, and the supporters are overall happy. So, we'll move on from that. It does say win Europa League, doesn't it? oh, we're going to be in the Europa League next season. I mean, it could be a free trophy to potentially go and win. In terms of player development, there has been some serious player development. JJ Gabriel, 6 starts, 12 for the bench. This guy's 18. He, I think, is ready to be our starting left winger. Other players, Kai Rooney has made his debut, 6 games off the bench, and is also progressing, which is unreal to see. And then out on loan, where is he? Kenneth Aishawn. Yeah, this guy is going to be a starting DM for us very soon. Now with 6 caps for Germany at 19 years of age and a 4-star leading Premier League player. And then I think there's a good chance that Diego Leon comes in as our rotational left back next season. He has just played 36 games at Middlesbrough in the Championship. Didn't light the world alight, but looks really good and could come in as our starter. In terms of our 2 young centre-backs, Lenny Yoro played 13 games, 13 off the bench, and Aiden Heaven 5 games and 14 off the bench. They both perform well when they play, but De Ligt and Pacho are the current starters. Omar El Hilali is still the starting right back, with Coyote also playing 17 games this season. Sendal Armans, I'm a little bit worried about. He is starting to drop in a lot of stats at 26 years of age. Hasn't really impressed me too much throughout the rebuild. Absolute joke how poorly this guy is rated on FM. He will get a huge boost in the winter update. I'm completely sure of it. I don't want to sell him, but I might bring in a starter. In the midfield, it seems to be a great decision to bring in Baleba and play him with Kobe Mainu as well. Ahmad is insane. Mbumo, 20 goal contributions. Bruno, 25 goals and 12 assists at 34. I don't know how he is still doing it. He is absolutely smashing it. I do think, though, next season will be his last, as his contract ends, he'll be 35. I think that's the point to try and replace him. Cunha will be staying around, 29 games for him, which is good. Delap, another 5 goals. Shea Lacey, 15 starts, 19 off the bench. An absolute joke of a player, not yet made his England debut, but hopefully throughout this rebuild can. And then we also have to touch on a few players that are coming up through the academy naturally as well, because there is quite a few. We have got Kaye McCormack, who is a centre-back DM or cam with 5-star potential. Stephen McGibbon, who is a young left-back with 5-star potential. Rory Cunningham, who is a right winger or cam with 5-star potential. And Judd Brady, an Australian striker with 5-star potential. So there is lots of players coming through. We are developing talent at a really good rate, and I don't think it's long until we start to absolutely dominate, despite dropping down to 5th place this season. And with there now being 0 debt on the club whatsoever, we can spend like a big club. But we also don't want to be like our rivals Manchester City, and I will continue to keep my head when it comes to transfers. In terms of outgoings, Liam Delap left the club for £31 million. Mateus Cunha left the club to go to Real Betis for £17 million. And that was pretty much it in terms of player sales, which allowed me to buy 4 players. And like I said, I'm being very, very smart. Fikayo Tomori joins the club for £12 million. He's a 31-year-old English centre-back, which allows me to have a natural backup to Matthias de Ligt and loan out Lenny Yoro. And then when de Ligt goes or Tomori retires or gets older, Lenny Yoro can become the starter. I've sold Liam Delap and brought in Artem Dovbyk, a 32-year-old striker of elite finishing, heading, physical stats, and again, is just happy to back up Benjamin Sesko and cost me £11 million. Sorry, £4 million even, because then we spent £37 million on Guilherme Restes, one of the best young goalkeepers on FM over the last few iterations of the game. Looks insane in this version of the save as well. And then finally, our potential future Bruno Fernandes replacement is Can Uzun, signed from Eintracht Frankfurt for £23.5 million. He hasn't progressed at the rate that I would hope he would, but I'm hoping maybe this season he can develop his game a bunch and become Bruno's replacement on the long term. If not, it was a fairly cheap signing and we can already sell him for 40 million. Now, like I said, I am looking into loan offers for a whole bunch of different players. Johan Manzambi, I'm going to loan out because he's just 23 years of age. Kai Rooney, I am loaning him out somewhere where you can be a regular starter or important player. JJ Gabriel, I don't think I'm going to loan out. I don't think so. There's lots of offers coming in where he's going to play lots of games. I'm not 100% sure. We will see about that one. Omar El Hilali, I think I'll be ending up keeping as he is wanted by lots of clubs. Same as Baleba. Jaden Iwashi will be going out on loan again, same as Christian Orozoko, who has now developed to be a regular starter at Wolfsburg, by the way, and has developed really well. So if you're doing a United rebuild, he could be awesome in the future for you as well. And then a few of our young players as well, getting a lot of interest. But I think I'm really happy with the way this sort of rebuild is going. The direction of it is enabling me to use a bunch of the young stars that are currently at United, keep hold of a lot of the stars which were brought in recently in real life, and really develop this team. I mean, looking into the first team now, Restes in goal, El Hilali right back, Delict, Pacho and Brown at centre-back and left-back, Baleba Amenu, and Mbuemo Ahmad, Fernandez, Sesko. The front line stays the exact same as we've got it currently in real life. DM, we bring in our big target in the summer, and defence we have completely revitalised as the older players like Luke Shaw, Lissandro Martinez, and even the quality of Delay has been massively improved. On the bench, we now have Larmans, Coyote, Tamori, Heaven, and Dorgu as the backup defenders. Ravella and Aitchorn are the new backup defensive midfielders, with Lacey, Traore, Canuzin and Dovbyk as the backup striker. This team, I think, is fantastic, and even if we don't win the league this season, I think our smart loan process to get the young players better and game time to come back will pay dividends over the next few seasons. So yes, this season, the Premier League went horrendously not very well. We finished in 6th place, got 63 points, but there was a much bigger story this season. Our loan deals worked an absolute treat. Lenny Yoro played 59 games at Juventus and is ready to come back as a starting centre-back. We've signed Pablo Panguea, a Costa Rican cam, and loaned him back to his parent club, where he is playing unbelievably. Kai Rooney has just got 3 assists and 9 goals in the Championship, and Manzambi has played 37 games for Villarreal. So future-proofing, I think, has worked, and we could now be going on to a new era. And we kept 2 of our young stars in and around the first team this season and didn't send them out on loan, which seems like a very clever thing to do. Shea Lacey on the right-hand side, spinning in and out, beating his man, but then JJ Gabriel to give us our first FA Cup of the rebuild. So far, I think we've won a Carabao Cup, a Premier League, and now an FA Cup in season number 5. It is a big one to tick off, and one that I want to win many more times over the next 5 seasons, but that is the future. Shea Lacey, JJ Gabriel, and more trophies. And that wasn't it. The old guard of wingers linked up as well. Brian Mbuemo and Ahmad linking up for a 1-0 victory in the Europa League final up against Brighton, making it 2 trophies this season. And while we nearly made it a hat-trick of trophies, an Aiden Heaven red card in the 99th minute meant we did not beat Arsenal, but got to another final. And by the way, Arsenal with Harry Kane up front. This rebuild has been absolutely mental for some of the transfers that have happened. But with them 2 trophies added on to the 2 previous, we are on 4 trophies by the end of season number 5. And like I said, we have got a lot of players developing, a lot of players out on loan. I think now we are going to absolutely explode. Kenneth Aitchorn at 20 years of age is the best player at the club, and looking at his stats, I'm not surprised in the slightest. Shea Lacey played 28 games, got 9 off the bench, and got 14 goal contributions, and also looks absolutely fantastic. And then JJ Gabriel, we kept in and around the first team this season, started 24 games, had 16 games off the bench, got 12 goals, and got 6 assists. The future is looking very bright. That's not about to mention as well Aiden Heaven starting 28 games, 3 assists, and playing really well at that left centre-back role. And overall, I really just do think we have had a couple of seasons outside of the top 4 even, not in the Champions League, but I think the next 5 are about to be insane. So season 6 was the year of moving on some players for a lot of profit. Brian Mbuemo going to Inter Milan after 5 seasons, now 30 years of age, for £72 million. And Nico Ravella joining Lille for £50 million. We have loaned out a bunch of our 5-star potential players and then gone and spent a bunch of money on a bunch of future stars. Mario Torres is a future rotational right back. Fernando Mangiana is a future potential centre back. Michael Skoda for 3.9 million as a future DM. Yang Dong Han as a future DM. And Demir Macic as a future right winger. And then we spent big money on 2 players for right now. Julio Enciso, £60 million from Borussia Dortmund, replaces Brian Mbeumo as that rotational left winger. And Barja and Gruder is the cam I have brought in to replace Bruno Fernandes, who leaves the club to go and join Saudi side Al Hilal at 35 years of age and still earns £700,000 a week while getting an extra 5 seasons at Manchester United, which I absolutely love to see because he ticked off everything he wanted to tick off other than winning a Champions League trophy, but won a Premier League, won FA Cups, won Europa Leagues, now goes to Saudi as a club legend. And then I mentioned this guy as my final signing as well for £500,000 from Costa Rica, who I think is really awesome. He, again, cost me, $500k. I actually signed him when he was 16 years of age. He had caps for Costa Rica that young. Literally this season here. Didn't join us until he was 18. Went out on loan last season, back at his parent club, was unreal. And now he's going to come in as a rotational cam in the 21s and might make it in the future. And these sorts of signings is something I've really concentrated on this summer as with, building for the future seems to be working quite well. And in all honesty, I don't want to change this team too much. We have done a really good job at sort of harnessing some of them young loan deals and making players better. So Restes is the goalkeeper, El Halali is the right back, and Lenny Yoro finally is the starting centre-back after that humongous loan deal at Juventus. William Pacho is still here and now at 30, I believe. Nope, only 28 years of age, but probably the starting left centre-back. If not, it's Aidan Heaven. We could potentially see a Yoro and Heaven centre-back partnership. Nathaniel Brown, left-back, Baleba Mainu, DMs, Ahmad Enciso, Gruder and Sesko, and Barjan Gruder for 75 million at 26 years of age. I've used him before this year. He's very, very good. And I'm excited to see if he can replace the Bruno Fernandes goals. Shea Lacey and JJ Gabriel staying in the first team. Uzun Dovbik Manzambi, who was out on loan last year, progressed really, really well. 24 years of age now. Aishawn, Dorgu, Heaven, Tamori Coyote. Yeah, I think we're about to go and dominate. Well, we are certainly dominating one competition, and that is the FA Cup, as we win this game against Spurs 4-1 and just show how good we really have got with another goal from Benjamin Sesko, who, by the way, I don't think I'm going to replace throughout the entirety of this rebuild. He has been fantastic now every single season, and this year just took another step up. We've also made a bit of a habit of getting to Carabao Cup finals recently, and this time we won it, beating Manchester City on penalties, and the final 2 penalties scored by Shea Lacey and JJ Gabriel, beating off Slots City. But the Champions League, we still go out in the round of 16. We're 6 seasons deep and haven't had a run past the round of 16. I think that's an area to certainly concentrate on. As is getting our Premier League trophy back, because despite a ridiculous season with a bunch of wins, a few huge results and victories over the course of the whole year, Arsenal beat us to the title by 3 points, despite us getting 89 points, having 69 goal difference, scoring 97 goals. Arsenal pipped us to the top spot, which is absolutely devastating. So we still have just the 1 Premier League title, and Arsenal are now 3 in a row. That would be simply unbearable in real life, wouldn't it? I mean, this season we had the best clean sheet record and scored the most goals, but Arsenal was sadly just a bit too good to beat us by 3 points. And again, we had an insane year. A whole bunch of goals coming from Sesko. Brajan Gruder grabbed 31 and 13 assists as the best performer in the entire side. Julio Enciso, 30 goal contributions. Ahmad, 38 goal contributions. JJ Gabriel with 18. Aishawn with 12. Lenny Yoro as a starting centre-back was amazing. Kai Rooney out on loan's done well. Shea Lacey, 18 assists as a rotational right winger. And we just fell short because Arsenal got 92 points. Things are still certainly going well. So once again this season we dip into the transfer market and build for the future. One of the best signings I think we have potentially made is the one of Bettinho from Atletico Modenese to potentially be a rotational striker and might even one day take Sesko's position. He is 199 centimeters tall, he has got 16 finishing and he has got outrageous jumping reach. As a backup striker, he's pretty good for just 13 million. At right back, I've signed Taylan Bullet from Everton. He looks to have progressed really well throughout this rebuild and again is the perfect inverted fullback. And then signed Leon Zikirovic for just a small 83 million to be our new Croatian centre-back on the left-hand side and really take over this position to be his own. And he's just 23 years of age, which is insane. Just how good he's progressed and how good he has got playing at Inter Milan. I don't believe there was any other major sales in here, but there was another sale or two in here, with Dorgu going to Real Madrid for 42 million, De Ligt going to Juventus for 40.5, and Coyote to Villarreal for 15. Tomori left, Chido Obi's left, Davida's left, and Patrick O'Leary's left. Overall, just disappointed. Chido couldn't quite develop. I sent him out on loan so many times. He never really impressed and is now going to go and be a rotational player at Cologne. So a bit of a shame for the Chido Obi career, but overall, I think we'll be fine without him. The squad, of course, hasn't changed too much this season. And once again this year, we are going for Arsenal's Premier League trophy and trying to stop their spell of dominance and also lift the Champions League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup and add to the 6 trophies we've got so far. Just another small cheeky reminder, if you guys are enjoying, please make sure to smash the like button. Arsenal are too good. Arsenal have won 4 Premier Leagues in a row. Arsenal have become consistent. And guess who they're managed by? Not Mikel Arteta. Pep Guardiola. All Arsenal need is to get rid of Lego Head and they'll win 4 titles in a row. This team is so frustrating. But it wasn't all doom and gloom this season. The FA Cup we win for the 3rd season in a row with a dominating 4-0 victory over Sebastian Hoeneß's Chelsea side with goals from Sesko, Gruda, Enciso and Ahmad. And in the Carabao Cup, goals from Baleba and Gruda meant we beat Spurs in the final and have another season of winning 2 trophies. But could we finally do the unthinkable and make it 3? We managed to finally get past the round of 16, beating Bayern Munich in a convincing 4-1 victory at Old Trafford. And while a 0-0 draw at the Nou Camp against Barcelona was the first leg, but the second was looking slightly different. A player through the academy in Brady finds Sesko for the 4th goal of this game as we beat Barcelona 4-1 and move on to the semi-finals. Yes, here at Manchester United, we have managed to develop yet another Academy stars in Judd Brady, who looks incredible. The semi-finals were against Juventus, and we won this 9-1 on aggregate. I don't know how we're not winning in the Premier League, because we have built an absolute super team. McGibbon, who is a young left-back through the Academy, got the assist for Gruda. Shea Lacey assisted Enciso. Ahmad assisted Sesko. And then JJ Gabriel assisted Cunningham, who is, yes, another young player coming up from the academy with 5-star potential for a 9-1 victory over Juventus, sending us to the final of the Champions League. So of course it was up against Manchester City, but we were just a little bit too good. Oh, Benjamin Sesko was a little bit too good. He scored the one and only goal in this game to make a Manchester final of United versus City end in a 1-0 victory, and Manchester United lift the Champions League for the first time in this rebuild at the end of season number 7, making it a hat-trick of trophies this season, making it 9 trophies in 7 seasons, but more importantly, ticking off the big one. It's a treble, not the treble. That's still to come, but the Champions League has been accomplished. So the goal is simple now, with 3 seasons left of the rebuild, to get that title back off Arsenal. Go and win a Champions League in the same season, go and win the FA Cup in the same season, and get that historic treble back to United. I would love to say one thing though, and that is the youth we have got coming up through this team. Where is it? Shea Lacey. He is like the best player at the club now. Has made 8 caps for England and is absolutely insane. And JJ Gabriel, 35 starts, 15 goals at 21 years of age. A cap for England, also absolutely insane. You're probably wondering where Kai Rooney is. He's out on loan at Crystal Palace and just played 33 games in the Premier League. So for Kai, it's going quite well as well. And there is a world we see him in the first team in the next few seasons. This rebuild has almost gone entirely as I would have wanted it to go and really build up for this last 3 years of trying to win a treble. I just need to make sure it happens now. We've made 3 more signings, a new left-back rotation option in Diego Tabadora, who is listed as a wonder kid, signed from Newcastle for 30 million. Winyard Brechthoven comes in from Feyenoord, a Dutch centre-back for 58 million. And for 52 million, Thiago Rodriguez joins from Benfica, who, I mean, kind of I've signed because he's Portuguese and a cam and could be the new Bruno Fernandes for us, or just a rotation option for Gruda. And with them added signings, let's go and see if we can do the almighty treble. Well, job number 1 is ticked off because for the first time in the club's history, Manchester United not only win a Champions League, we win back-to-back Champions League with the winning goal coming from JJ Gabriel against Marvin Keller and Inter Milan. That was probably the hardest thing to do, so now we've just got to win the Premier League and the FA Cup. And I've got to say, we couldn't have got much luckier in the FA Cup final as we faced up against Coventry. No disrespect to Coventry, but we beat them 2-0. It was a very easy game. And now we need to lift the Premier League. And as you can see, based on our form in all competitions this season, we were absolutely incredible. Bunch of goals coming against Wrexham, Fulham, Chelsea, Leicester, Villa, beating Manchester City. And this season was finally going to be our year. As finally in 2033 we get our second Premier League trophy on 90 points. And Arsenal weren't even close. Liverpool were the closest team on 79, Arsenal on 69. But this year we done it. We won the Premier League and we completed a historic treble. Lifting a Premier League, lifting an FA Cup and lifting a Champions League. All in one season. It has been completed in 8 years with Manchester United. And I've got to say, I'm absolutely buzzing because we haven't gone crazy ridiculous in terms of transfers. We've spent, let's call it 900 million. All right, that's quite a lot of money. But let's also say we have sold £600 million worth of players. We have got brand new owners and we have blooded through a whole bunch of youth. I mean, let's just take a look at some of the best performers over the course of this season, shall we? JJ Gabriel, 7.29, 29 goal contributions. Shea Lacey, 7.28, 29 goal contributions. Benjamin Sesko, 30. Baleba, a 7 and 11 assists and a 7.29. Thiago Rodriguez, a great signing. Ahmad, 17 goal contributions. Gruja with 25. Munoz, the striker we signed, 18 goal contributions. The Chilean looks to be the next Chicharito potentially. Unbelievable off the bench. A little lad, good jumping reach. Martin Munoz, what a player. And really over the next 2 seasons, I'm just going to see how many trophies we can rack up. As I believe now we are on 12 after 8 seasons. Let's go and see if we can just get another 5 over the next 2 years. And you never know, we could even do back-to-back trebles. We spent £116 million this summer, mainly on a £64 million unbelievable inverted fullback to come into the team. The rest of it, a whole bunch of wonder kids for the future, including another backup potential right back of Connoisseur from West Ham. We raised another 86 million in sales of Diego Leon, Rory Cunningham and Taylan Boulet, and really have absolutely leveled up the squad with them signings. We've also sold Lenny Yoro for 72 million to Juventus, Johan Manzambi for 35 to Napoli, and Christian Orozco to Atalanta for 11. And this season officially, at season number 9, JJ Gabriel and Shea Lacey are our best wingers at the club and will be starting alongside Kobe Mainu as the left centre defensive midfielder, meaning 3 academy talents in the first team. Restes, Kisaruko, Brechthoven, Yadakovic, Nathaniel Brown make up the back 4. Mainu, Aishawn, Lacey, Gabriel, Gruda and Sesko, the strike partnership. Kai Rooney is in the first team this season. Ahmad is in the first team, of course. Rodriguez, Munoz, Silvano, who's a young DM we've signed, and Baleba as the backup DMs. Let's just go and see what we can do for this last 2 seasons. Well, the goal was to win another treble, but that didn't happen at all. In fact, we lost in the FA Cup final to Brentford. We lost in the Carabao Cup semi-final against Manchester City. We got knocked out of the Champions League quarter-finals by Liverpool, but did manage to, for the first time in this rebuild, go back-to-back in Premier Leagues on 86 points, beating out Liverpool, City, Spurs, and then the fall-off of Arsenal has got to be studied. One thing I want to say, though, is Manchester City have won one Premier League title throughout the course of this rebuild. And just to remind you of the players they have got in this side and some of the players that they have signed throughout this rebuild, there's 200 million spent here, 87 on a backup striker, 85 on Furhat. There's 280 million pounds spent there on Nico Paz, Alex Scott, Beraldo, Mohamed Marmoush, not the Marmoush they've got now. 50 million pounds there, 130 there, including Adam Wharton coming in from Palace. There's 250 there with Jimmy Garner, Alphonso Davies, Caicedo, Loic Baddy. There's 100 there. There's 284 here with the Rodrigo, Gibbs White, Vuskovic, Gilberto Moura signings, and then the 265 million pound signing of Kylian Mbappe, who, it's got to be said, was absolutely shocking for them, and it's the first time I've ever seen Mbappe really never progress. It's also the first time I've ever seen him leave Real Madrid, so very interesting that. Which means he never actually ended up winning a golden ball, and to be honest, it's just been completely dominated by Erling Haaland, despite them winning just one Premier League, which also means Lamine Yamal, at 26 years of age, has also never won a golden ball. He's absolutely insane, but not golden ball winner. No surprise that Shea Lacey grabbed another 24 goal contributions and JJ Gabriel grabbed 33. His stats are now just absolutely incredible. Gruda 14 and 13, Sesko at 31, 33 and 5, and a whole bunch of other goals coming from the squad as well. To be fair, a bit of a disappointing season. I kind of wanted us to really absolutely dominate this year after the treble. That's not exactly happened. So we've just got one more season to go. Season number 10. Let's just see if we can do a second treble. We've added one trophy to the list here. That now makes it 13 trophies in 9 seasons, I think, unless my math has gone completely wrong. But let's see. Season 10, can we do a quadruple? There was a few minor signings which came in as we spent upwards of £50 million, but raised a whole 164 as Gruda, Pacho, Moffat, Aidan Heaven and Bertinho all left the club, and we concentrated on them young players once again. This season, JJ Gabriel became a 5-star player, scored 21 goals and got 11 assists in 40 games. Benjamin Sesko grabbed 37 goals and 6 assists and carried on his unbelievable vein of form as Manchester United's number 9. We also had Thiago Rodriguez as our starting cram, grabbed 21 goal contributions, and Shea Lacey grabbed 16 goals, 18 assists, become England's number 1 right winger, and look absolutely incredible. And while Kai Rooney has left the club and joined Nice on a free agent contract, it is awesome to see that with our development, even though we never really broke into our team other than 2 games in 2029, a whole bunch of different loan spells, he has gone on to make an England debut, and we have nurtured Kai Rooney to be an England level player. Overall, the final team we built was just absolutely incredible. A whole bunch of youth academy talent coming through, and we have officially turned Manchester United into the biggest club in world football. No, this season didn't end in another treble. We lost to PSG in the quarterfinals 5-2. But the final game of this rebuild was a 4-0 victory against Liverpool in the FA Cup final, which fills me with so much joy. And we grabbed 98 points in this 5th and final season, making it 3 back-to-back Premier Leagues, a 98-point season tally with just 2 losses, 89 goals scored, and the highest average rating of anyone in the entire league was Shea Lacey. This has been an incredible rebuild. We have done 10 years of building United back to the best club in the world using realistic tactics, which I think we've absolutely nailed, and they will be available on the Patreon, as well as this end of season 10 save file and the start point and the enter data file where you guys can put Shea Lacey and JJ Gabriel into your FM26 saves. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, hype it up, and I'll speak to you guys next time.